Welcome to HumanityWins.net. Please read the important disclaimer on your screen. All of the content provided is for entertainment purposes only. It should not be taken as medical or legal advice. Please contact your doctor or lawyer if you require such advice. Thank you. The show starts right now. Hello. Welcome to Change is Near. This is episode 17 on March 19th of the year 2022. Today's episode is about the moon. I'm sorry I'm missing some episodes, and anyway, I think I'm gonna run out of subjects soon, so I'm gonna start doing 3 or 4 per week. As I'm just a normal human being that I have things to do like you, and we're all busy, and it's a really hard time right now for humanity because we have so many distractions going on that makes it difficult to keep going in a way, but we have to try. So today's episode is about the moon, and you see the moon has always been a subject of interest for humanity. I mean, we have always been interested and curious about the moon. I mean, it seems so near in a way, like this picture shows, that imagine for thousands of years, don't having even the possibility to think that it was a possibility to go to the moon, I mean, physically. So it has been studied, quite a bit by scientists and astronomers, and there's a little debate going on if the moon is actually a natural satellite or it's artificial. If you have seen my episodes, especially go back to episode 2, that I believe that the Earth is controlled by what is called an alien species, extraterrestrials that came to Earth thousands and hundreds of thousands of years ago. So if you allow me that, if you in a way think that I'm on the right track on that, then it's certainly a possibility that the moon is artificial, which is the side I'm leaning to. There are just too many coincidences, for it to be natural, you see, because the universe doesn't operate that way. The universe is not interested in symmetry or matching exact angles, and that's why they say always when you see in nature something that is 90 degrees, 270 degrees, and those are really strange coincidences that something will be like that. Okay, so the moon has the same type of coincidences, and the most important one, in my opinion, is the moon for us is exactly the same size as the sun, because it's exactly 400 times smaller, but it's 400 times nearer, you see. So that's why it appears to us, and that's why it's capable of dimming the sun or even make it disappear, which to me is its more interesting capability, you see, because without the sun, life on Earth, biological life, will die. Earth will die. It will freeze eventually, and all life will just basically die. It will become a dead planet, which is also, there are some planets in the universe that are biologically dead. So if the moon is not natural and has the capability to block the sun, and if they can create like a permanent solar eclipse, then we're in trouble, you see. So for me, it's like a strategic orbiting, rock, if you want to call it, or not exoplanet, it's very small planet. Still is the 5th largest satellite in the solar system. So what I did is I got a couple of videos, and we're going to see them together. One of them is totally mainstream, it's from National Geographic. It's not both videos are not my work. I just copied them and I include the links on the show notes. Okay, so I'm disclosing that. And it's just an extract of a larger video, but for me it's the most interesting parts of both videos, how we analyze the mainstream explanation that obviously the moon is natural, and they try to explain all the things that are not natural about it. And then we're going to see, yes, the alternative view that the moon has very strange characteristics that make it, being natural, highly unlikely, which is why I kind of align with. It's not that I'm saying for sure, I don't know, but what feels inside me is the moon is a tool, unfortunately, of the evildoers, and they will use it eventually if they need to harm us, okay? I'm sorry to say that, but that's what resonates with me. I know we're in love with the moon, and we have expressions like, if I could, I will give you the moon, and we know it's a very, through humanity, we have always been in love with our satellite, It's beautiful. It's just looking at this picture I have right now on the screen. It's beautiful. It's very intriguing. It's just I'm telling you again. These are my feelings, not even my opinion. My feelings. So I'm going to present you three things. I'm going to present you the mainstream explanation, the alternative explanation of artificial, and then what I think it's the moon. Okay. So let's watch the first video.
The moon was formed about 4.5 billion years ago, when, according to one theory, the Earth slammed into another early planet. Debris from this collision began to orbit Earth and accumulated, forming today's moon. The moon is the fifth largest natural satellite in the solar system, with a diameter just under the width of China. It's composed of an iron-rich core, plus a mantle and crust containing minerals made of magnesium, oxygen, and silicon. The moon's surface was once geologically active and covered in an ocean of magma. But today, apart from traces of water ice, the surface is completely covered in dust and rocky debris. Countless craters dot the moon's surface, each formed by objects such as meteoroids, comets, and asteroids crashing onto the moon. The largest crater, the South Pole Aitken Basin, spans across a quarter of the moon's surface and is nearly deep enough to fit Mount Everest inside. The moon orbits our planet at an average distance of 30 Earths. It rotates at the same rate that it revolves. So as it revolves around our planet, the same side of the moon faces the Earth at all times. From the Earth's surface, we can observe 8 distinct traditionally recognized stages of the moon's illumination. Called lunar phases, they have been observed for thousands of years and even provided the basis for the earliest calendars. For most of human history, the moon could only be studied from afar. But on July 20th, 1969, humans were able to close that distance with the American spaceflight mission Apollo 11.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
It placed humans on the moon for the very first time, bringing our understanding of Earth's only natural satellite one step closer.
Okay, so you can go and watch the video if you want. I'm going to include the link as well as I always been doing. This is not my work. I got this from the internet. But it's a very good mainstream explanation in around 2 minutes. So I would quickly just want to discuss the coincidence you might have seen that, for example, the moon rotates at the same speed as it's rotating itself. I mean, in the air is rotating at the same time. So that's always we see the same side of the moon, and there's a dark side of the moon that we are not visually able to see ever. I find that extremely coincidental for it to be natural, okay? And so I went back and tried to check. I mean, I might be wrong, but you might want to check it yourself. Again, all the information I provide, you might want to check it yourself. You might find differences or stuff that resonates with you, and that becomes your truth. But I went and checked the other moons from the solar system, and none of them behave like the moon. So if this is natural, how come moons from Saturn, Jupiter, and other planets don't behave like that? Just wanted to make that point. Very, very strange that those symmetries appear in nature, because nature is not concerned about that. You see? Typically, moons have eccentric orbits, and they do spin at a different speed than the orbit, so they show different sides to the mother planet, and they might go near or they might go farther, and it depends, and there's basically no cycle about it, because that's nature, you see? That's nature. It's like the sea always breaking the waves exactly the same, day after day. No, one wave will be stronger, one wave will be weaker. I mean, that's nature, okay? Because there's balance between itself. It doesn't require artificial symmetry. That's why I call this artificial symmetry, okay? That an intelligent species will put into it. And they were not concerned that we will eventually find out that those symmetries and those coincidences don't appear in nature, in the universe, okay? So that I just wanted to make that point. So now we're going to see the explanation on why the moon is maybe artificial. So we gave mainstream science a chance. So let's give this explanation a chance. There's interesting things on both explanations.
Over the years, it has been scientifically observed that the Earth's moon holds some strange characteristics. The moon is the fifth largest natural satellite in the solar system. It is believed to have been created by a giant impact between the young Earth and a Mars-sized body. After examination, it has been noted that the moon is apparently in the wrong orbit for its size, according to its current assumed density. Astronomy data indicates that the internal regions of the moon are less dense than the outer, giving rise to the inevitable speculation that it could be hollow. Some of these claims come from the fact that when meteors strike the moon, it rings like a bell. More specifically, when the Apollo crew, on November 20th, 1969, released the lunar module after returning to the orbiter, the module impact with the moon caused their seismic equipment to register a continuous reverberation like a bell for more than an hour. In July of 1970, members of the then Soviet Academy of Sciences, Michael Vasin and Alexander Sherbakov, proposed the spaceship moon theory. The pseudoscientific theory claims that the Earth's moon may actually be an alien spacecraft. Vasin and Sherbakov's thesis was that the moon is a hollowed-out planetoid created by unknown beings with technology far superior to any on Earth. Huge machines would have been used to melt rock and form large cavities within the moon. The moon would therefore consist of a hole-like inner shell and an outer shell made from metallic, rocky slag. The spaceship moon was then placed into orbit around Earth. Proponents of this theory point to the increased reports and pictures of UFOs taken by NASA on their missions to the moon. The moon has tens of thousands of craters of various sizes covering the surface. However, all the craters have the same depth. This suggests to scientists that there may be some sort of metallic barrier underneath the surface protecting it from damage. It has been found that asteroids and meteors not only create shallow craters on the moon's surface, but produce a convex floor to the crater instead of a concave, as expected, supporting the idea of a rigid shell. The moon is far older than previously expected, maybe even older than the Earth or the Sun. The oldest age for the Earth is estimated to be 4.6 billion years old, while moon rocks were dated at 5.3 billion years. The chemical composition of dust upon which the rocks sit is remarkably different from the rocks themselves. This indicates that the lunar surface may have been moved from somewhere else and placed on the moon. Some of the moon's craters originated internally, yet there is no indication that the moon was ever hot enough to produce volcanic eruptions. Hundreds of moonquakes are recorded each year that cannot be attributed to meteor strikes. Some of the quakes seem to follow a specific schedule. The moon's crust is...
Okay, so you can go ahead.
Over the years...
Sorry about that. You can go ahead and look at the video completely. I'm going to include the links to both videos. Again, there's a lady that made this video. She that made a very good job about it, and you might want to look it in its entirety. It's very interesting. So I wanted to point out some strange facts about the moon. You see, the one that I already mentioned is the sun and the moon are about the same size when you look at them in the sky, thanks to the coincidence that the sun is about 400 times farther away than the moon, or the moon is 400 times nearer, and also about 400 times bigger. So they match perfectly, you see. So that's why that we have solar eclipses, that the moon will get in front of the sun and can almost completely, there's just a ring outside, but it's not usable energy. That won't get us going, you see. If there's a permanent solar eclipse, the Earth will eventually die, and not all its beings will die, will perish from the lack of the sun that we need for everything, you know, for crops and energy and for everything. So that's an interesting fact, and something I want to mention is not written there, that the lady explained. She was explaining that the moon dust is much older than its rocks, and even older than Earth, so that it was probably moved from somewhere else. Yeah, what about if the moon was moved from somewhere else? I mean, these beings, they have been going on for millions of years, okay? So we don't know. I mean, if we go back in the history of the universe, it's billions and billions, much more than we think. Billions and billions and probably trillions of years, okay? I know it sounds far-fetched, but again, I put the same example of bringing a man from the year 1000 to the year 2020. I mean, he's going to believe he's having a dream, that he's not going to understand anything, you see. Airplanes and telephones and, all the technology we have. So the same thing here. If I tell you that the universe is trillions years old and probably more, I mean, if you go through mainstream science, they have a set date, apparently, that the universe existed, or started, sorry. So I'm telling you something different, that these beings have been going on for millions and millions of years. So the possibility that when they came into planet Earth, and I explained this in episode 2, they were interested about the gold. They needed the gold for their own planet, you see, because that's who they are. They're very parasitic in nature. They don't care about the laws of the universe, of non-interference and balance. They don't care about that. They care about themselves. They're egocentric, centered on ego. Okay, so when they came, they say, okay, we need to watch out this planet, so let's bring one of our technologies, and they probably brought the moon. That's my theory. Okay, it's a little bit more far-fetched than the lady from the video, that she's just insinuating that probably the moon is artificial or hollow. Of course, if it's artificial, it's probably hollow. What's the point of filling it with matter if you only need the shell outside, and you probably need to move around the universe, and it has some sort of anti-gravity or some other system that they use. You see, these beings, they are advanced for our technology, which is primitive. It's very really on the universe, our technology is children stuff. But they are advanced, but there are beings that are far advanced. For example, the blue avians, you might want to research about them. They're able to move around the universe without crafts. You know, they're able to bend time and distance and just move instantly. Okay, so they don't have proportional systems of any kind. They could probably move the moon from the Earth's orbit to an orbit in another galaxy in 0 seconds, or just an instant. It's not 0 seconds exactly, just a blimp of time. You see, it's necessary to move around the universe. Okay. So going to the second point, moon's gravity does not relate equally to its mass as it does on Earth. You know, the gravity is 1.6 meters divided by square seconds. So that's much more pull than even if the moon was full of matter, and they say it has an iron core and then a mantle. Yes, but the gravity doesn't add up. So what's going on there? So it probably has artificial gravity, you see. And that's the necessary gravity for the use of the moon. Again, with my theory that it's just something up there. I don't want to call it a spaceship or whatever, because not like that. It's something up there they need. Okay, so they only need 1.6 meters, which again, for the size of the moon, and even if it was full of mass, is more than this gravitational pull that the mass creates, and the core, the iron core, is much more. So again, they explain this, there's on the video from National Geographic, and I've seen this explanation elsewhere. They explain that meteors hit the moon, and by the way, it really have to be small, because I mean, a large meteor will probably set the moon on a different course or something like that. If just a 1 kilometer meteor will probably destroy half of Earth's life and get us into a nuclear winter and all that, imagine that hitting the moon. So they probably have to be 20 meters or 10 meters. So how much really? You see, that's when the explanation doesn't add up. They claim that these meteors hit the moon and bring really high density rich matter that increases the gravitational pull. That doesn't add up at all. Oh, it's because it has been through millions of years, you see, so a lot of meteors have hit the moon. Oh, okay. Why it's not destroyed, or why it has not set in a different course? That doesn't add up. You see, they explain stuff, but they don't expect you to make the other question. So if someone, an astrophysicist or something, was explaining this in a university, you could ask this rebuttal question. I mean, if that's the case, I mean, don't tell me that 10 meter, 5 meter diameter meteors. They even say that they say meteors and other things hit the moon. It's not comets. One comet will destroy the moon. Come on. I mean, I don't know of a comet that is small enough to hit the moon. And they claim that comets hit the moon constantly because they need those explanations. So you don't go and looking that the moon is maybe artificial. You see, who controls this stuff is the same. They're the same evildoers that control us, that control all information on Earth. But the only information they're not controlling is the information that is coming from the universe and the wisdom that you have inside you. You have all the wisdom in the universe. You were blessed by your Father with all the wisdom and force and energy of the universe, but it's inside you and it's given to you little by little in breadcrumbs as you are ready for it, okay? So you have to traverse your existence, and you will be gaining this wisdom, and at the end you will have 100% access to it. Okay, so you might say, okay, what good is going to do to me in a million years? Believe me, it's going to help you to understand your existence and why you are a beacon of love and guidance, and you know, and why everything of this happened, and you have to forget about it like it was a bad dream, and you shouldn't hate anyone, even the evildoers that have been controlling Earth for such a long time. And the third one that I was mentioned in the video, but I've heard about this for years, is when an object hits the moon, a hollow, high-pitched sound like a bell is heard, like if it was empty inside. So that's strange on its own. And again, they put explanations that, you know, the materials of the crust of the moon is so hard that creates this sound when you know, with the impact. I don't know. Doesn't. I mean, again, if you dig into that a little bit, you can discredit it on your own. Okay. So one final point on the moon. For years, they have told us that the stages of the moon are basically vertical, you see. So of course we have the full moon and the new moon, but then all the crescents and quarters and waning gibbous and all that, last quarter and that, are from top to bottom, okay? And you know what? I remember from my childhood it was the case. But for 10, 15 years now, I don't know what happened. This one I cannot explain, okay? But it's very common to see the moon all over the place, okay? So the picture I'm showing you is very common right now to see side to side. That's strange. And then, of course, as they have done with the red moon or blood moon, they invent new stuff, that the refraction of the light from the sun, I mean, they invent stuff, like they have invented 20 new types of clouds in the last 20 years. I mean, there were 5, 10 types on 2,000 years, so like science has been researching these kind of things. And then in 20 years, we have 20 new because, you know, climate change or whatever. I mean, they throw stuff at you that it really doesn't have any science, even true mainstream science doesn't have any scientific value, but they hope you just eat it, like they spoon feed you this stuff. They just hope you eat it and you don't ask questions. So right now, the moon is, I don't know if it's malfunctioning, that's a theory I have. Something is going on, or they are changing it in a way because they want to use it for something. Again, nothing good, unfortunately, comes from these beings. But the moon is very common to see it all over the place, 45 degrees. This case is almost like 10 degrees if you look at it, 20 degrees, but side to side, not the common up to down or down to up, the way you look at it, that the stages of the moon have been forever. And this one they don't even explain. They just say it's normal. I mean, we never said it couldn't be side to side. Yes, I never saw it 30, 40 years ago. I'm just recently seeing it, and it's very strange if you're observant. Okay, so I just want to point this one out. I haven't seen that about that much, and you might say there's a mainstream explanation. Again, as I tell you, please take the mainstream explanation and do your own research and find your own truth, and try to put some wisdom into it. Okay, if you just eat the mainstream explanation, it's the same thing with the jabs. They say they're safe and effective, that they did all the trials. And if you come back to me and want to tell me that the jabs are safe because you're going to repeat the stuff that Fauci or whatever says, then we're in trouble, because really you're not thinking for yourself. You're just repeating stuff. So there is a mainstream explanation of the picture I'm showing you in the bottom, but it doesn't hold water, you see. So it's very strange. I don't know what's going on with the moon, okay? I don't know what's going on with the moon. It might be malfunctioning, or they might be trying stuff, rotating it differently because they are using it for some things. They can also send energy to the Earth from the moon. That they have different things. I kind of, in my feelings, I think they use, again, not for good reasons. And they make us fall in love with it, and they push the moon a lot, you know, like this is this beautiful thing, and it's beautiful. I mean, I'm not gonna say physically it's we're in love with the moon, but be careful, because I think its owners don't have any good intentions, as I already said. So thank you very much. Hope this one was interesting to you and not a long one. And again, there's the email. Use the comment sections. Check the guys from Wake in the Future. They have an episode today as well. It was a good one, as always. They're really finding their own new style. It's great. I like it very much personally. So you might want to check their show. I include the link to their brand new YouTube channel on the show notes. All right. Thank you very much. And I hope to be making some new episodes next week. Again, probably not daily anymore, but be sure to check back on the channel. I'll try to do 2, 3, 4 per week. Thank you very much. Have a very nice weekend. Bye-bye. We want you on the show. Send me an email to hey@humanitywins.net to schedule an interview. Help me out by making the show more interesting, fun, and knowledgeable by having you on and giving our viewers the opportunity to learn from you. Thank you for making it to this part of the video. This is my favorite part. This is where I suggest to you that you discover yourself. You are not what you have been groomed to believe. You are this incredible being without limits that has eternal life, amazing strength, infinite wisdom, and a big, beautiful heart. All your limits are always self-imposed. Your best version in this reality is inside you. Your only mission on this life is to become a beacon of love and guidance. This version is ready to be discovered today. How do you discover yourself? The discovery process is a personal one. No one can do it for you. Dedicate 5 minutes a day to talk to yourself and the universe. Request to be connected and ask, who am I? Where do I come from? You will start getting signs, breadcrumbs, and signals. You will notice how your notions about those realities start disappearing. No more hierarchies, no more competition, no more complaining, no more depending on others. Discovering yourself equals to breaking your matrix. Your self-imposed limits will fall and you will be ready to serve humanity and help break this spell and deception on us. But you must be patient to allow others to wake up at their time through their own free will. That will be really soon, you will see, and that will start a new world. As you work towards your best version, you will notice how all emotions don't serve you anymore. Hate, fear, rage, pride, loss, envy, violence, justice, true violence, judgment of others, and other emotions will disappear from your mind and heart. You will understand those emotions serve only the evildoers and are not you. Please try to be understanding of others that don't think or feel like you. Everyone has a process. No one is right or wrong. We're all just different. Don't be concerned about being right, ever. Don't allow pride preventing you from patching things up with family and friends. It is very important you enjoy this life with your loved ones. Put in the work to patch things up and leave it to others to decide. Please relax and enjoy life. When everyone breaks their own matrix, humanity through our community consciousness will break the final spell. The new world will start and everything will gradually fall. Governments, hierarchies, and the medical and financial system will go from scarcity to abundance for all. Thank you very much for watching. Please share this episode. If you have any comments or suggestions, please use the comment section below. For private questions, conversations, and if you would like to appear on the show, please email me at hey@humanitywins.net. Please be sure to check out our friends from Waking the Future and their awaken-attire.com shop. They gave me my first opportunity to speak about this and I will be forever grateful. Link to their channel and shop on the show notes. Thank you again. Please don't forget to visit our website www.humanitywins.net. By giving me your time, you honor me. Have a very, very, very nice day.